Hey guys, this is Savannah from earthandwater.co.
Oh, hey, this is April. Hi,
Okay.
guys, this is April.
And today we're going to be talking about seasonal depression because it's something that definitely hits both of us.
Yes, also called seasonal affective disorder, if you've never heard of that, seasonal depression.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of seasonal affective disorder.
And what that is if you winter rolls around, you start to feel the winter blues, or you you feel different. You're not as happy as you usually are. It affects up to 80% of people.
Okay, so with that though, I want to challenge whether or not it is actually a quote unquote disorder or if it's not just how we're made as people. Because winter originally, throughout history was not a time that you had a lot to do. It was mostly just hunkering down and waiting it out. So maybe there's nothing wrong with us at all, except for the fact that we're trying to be consistent in a world that's not consistent, in bodies that are not consistent. You know what I mean? Like, there's a natural flow to everything in the world. The natural cycles of the nature, the seasons, Um, us as women specifically have cycles. We're not the same all the time. So perhaps it's not something that's wrong with us as much as it is our environment, our culture, our society not taking into account the fluctuations of the body.
Yeah, I want to add to that. Evolution, we as a species have evolved a lot quicker than we are supposed to. Because of, I don't mean biological
Like technology.
technology. Our bodies have not caught up to the technology. We
used to have a lot of time to sit around and just space.
Yeah, and now we don't. We're constantly busy. I think that has a lot to do with it. And I mean, if 80% of people are affected by something, I agree with what you said. 20% of people
are just magical. That's their superpower.
Yeah. Happy all the time.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't know. I don't get happy. I am very mildly depressed. I will say that I am thankful to not be in a deep, dark depression, but things don't make me happy like they should.
I mean, maybe that's just where we are right now in culture and society. Yeah. And life, and we're trying to take all of the benefits that technology has brought us, and kind of trying to iron out the things that it doesn't necessarily benefit us much. And that gets into what percentage is it that they call this the age of anxiety? Touching back on what you said a second ago with how fast technology came about and how we haven't adapted to it yet, it is causing us a lot of stress and anxiety because we're bombarded constantly. Whereas, I remember, we're not that old, millennials, we remember before internet.
Yeah.
And what did we do before internet? I spent a lot of time staring at my ceiling.
I was outside making up imaginary friends.
Yeah, playing with sticks. Basically, though, we had the space to just sit in quiet, and that's non-existent now. But that's getting more towards regular anxiety and depression, and not specifically seasonal anxiety and depression, which I have decided is, how bears hibernate. Hibernation doesn't mean you go to sleep and stay asleep. It means you just sleep more in the winter. So that's what bears do.
I definitely do that.
I've decided that I just have the spirit of the bear and that I hibernate this time of year. As soon as it starts getting cold outside, I'm like, well, it's time to nap 2 to 3 times a day.
Yes,
And that's okay.
I do that.
We'll catch you back in the spring.
Yeah, I agree with you. Some listed symptoms of seasonal depression are feeling sluggish or tired or sleeping more, called hypersomnia. Yep, I would say that that's just winter.
Yeah, which makes sense because, resources are scarce in the winter. There's not a lot of food. You're kind of just surviving off your storages, your food storages. So naturally, our bodies would want to help us out with that by conserving energy. Our bodies are always wanting to conserve energy because we had to work really hard for our food up until recently in history. So when we weren't working for food, we were usually sleeping and resting for energy conservation so that we had plenty.
All of this to say there is nothing wrong with you, but if you do feel out of ordinary for yourself around winter, um, I would suggest if you feel you need it, seek help.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There are lots of resources now. We're talking about this technological age we are in. It's actually pretty helpful for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a National Institute for Mental Health. You can go on there. There are podcasts you can listen to. There are apps you can download.
Prozac.
Yeah, I'm on 2 antidepressants myself.
I'm on Prozac.
No shame. No
Nope.
shame.
No, you gotta do what you gotta do, especially if and I don't want to get into like how one group of people suffer more in certain things than others or anything like that, but like as a mom myself personally, and you, April, I know, we have lots of kids, and when you have lots of kids and you're trying to manage them in this world, plus manage your own stuff, plus all the other things, if you need some help, get some help, okay? You don't have to try to soldier through and do it all yourself, okay? Never feel like you have to do that. There is help. Just keep asking for help. Ask anybody who will listen, call the hotlines, do all the things until you find somebody that is happy to help you.
Yeah, 5 years ago, things were not this simple. The pandemic has really helped. They've gone
as far as mental
online.
health
Yes,
goes?
yes. I after my son was born, I could not get in to see a doctor. I called and called and was put on a waiting list and was told that if I wasn't suicidal, they couldn't help me right then.
Right? They don't give a shit until something happens.
And I was off my meds at the time. I was so distraught. This is ridiculous, you guys. I flipped my couch. Like that meme where they flip the table because of a board game. I flipped my couch. No one was sitting on it. I needed help and I couldn't get it.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. I've heard stories of women, especially, and we can get it. Oh man, we're on tangents. We're on tangents because now we're moving towards. I was fixing to start talking about postpartum anxiety and depression. There's a ton of different.
Well, I think that we can talk about that. I think it all ties together.
It does.
It's all really helpful.
That's true. Knowing that if you are by chance not only dealing with winter in and of itself, but you have other things going on, you definitely could have several different flavors of anxiety and depression stacking on top of each other, and that's when things get real interesting.
I've always had anxiety since I was a wee tot, and I didn't get put on any medication until I was 12, and I came off of it. I had my first child. I was 20, and I was 22. I lied. I was 22 when she was born, and it quadrupled. I couldn't go to the grocery store.
The
anxiety. I couldn't go to the grocery store. I have ADHD also, but I couldn't be in the grocery store without disassociating. Mm-hmm. I felt like all the sounds were amplified, but I was so far away. I was in this dark hole. It would take me 4 hours to do what should have taken one. Tunnel vision completely. I thought I was going crazy.
Yep.
Because no one talks about it.
Nope.
And then
they hush it like it's something that's wrong with you when it's they act like it's not something that most people deal with.
Yeah,
That's what bothers me.
I agree.
Everybody, most of the people that tell me that they don't have anxiety, if you watch them, yeah, they do.
Yeah, my parents did not understand my anxiety at all, and now that I am an adult, I realize that they're incredibly anxious people.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know that they're incredibly anxious because they never had the chance to talk about it. My dad sits and does this thing with his thumb constantly where he flicks his thumbnail. You can tell he's over there just stewing in mental thought. What are you thinking about? What's happening in there? He never talks about it. No idea.
Yeah.
No idea what's happening.
Because it's not quote unquote manly to address your feelings and emotions. We could go on. We have lots of topics that we could definitely dive deep into. Let's try to focus on seasonal depression.
Okay, so several tangents later. Back to seasonal depression. If you have a lack of interest in your normal activities, you are withdrawn socially, you are craving carbs, you are gaining weight, you have fatigue, you have anxiety, you're losing a large amount of weight because you're not eating.
All of the symptoms. Every symptom you can imagine is depression.
Okay.
And you should say, no, not seriously, but that's basically.
Yeah. Anything out of the ordinary.
What is ordinary?
Your ordinary.
What is my ordinary when I'm constantly running new things?
Okay, no, I'm the same way. We're going to make people anxious.
Good.
Okay, so if you do not think it's bad enough that you can seek help, there are things that you can do at home. Going outside and getting the vitamin D from the sun
on your face
is the best thing that you can do. Savannah has a lamp above her computer that mimics natural sunlight. She's getting vitamin D from it. I am not telling you to do this, but my doctor at one point recommended that I go tanning. Now there are several other light sources that you can use instead of tanning beds.
Yeah, my lamp above my desk, you can get it off. I got it off Amazon for like $40. It's 10,000 looms. You can search in the box anxiety lamp or something.
Depression lamp, fake sunlight.
Yeah, it's all lack of sunlight for sure.
Eating well. We are a fast food nation where we live.
Food is energy.
We need to be eating correctly. Whole grains, if you eat grains. Fruits and vegetables. All of this will help. You can take a vitamin.
Of content on food and figuring out how to eat good food for you because, and this is something I'm obviously very passionate about. Food is energy and the most basic staple building block of any kind of successful anything. If you cannot control your energy you take in, then you can't control the energy you put out.
I struggle with that a lot.
Everybody does.
I eat crap unless I take the time to meal prep. I am a creature of convenience. If it's not right in front of me, I am going to go get fast food, which is horrible for my body. I always feel like I'm dying if I don't eat right and exercise. I wonder sometimes, I'm like, is this what 30 feels like? No. Is it just death? Is this what I'm experiencing? No. If I don't eat well and I don't exercise, I just feel awful.
Like most of the time, you don't notice how bad you feel until you start correcting, and then you're like, "Holy crap! How was I functioning like this on a daily basis?"
I agree. I feel awful right now, and you get sick more if you don't eat right. And I mean, I'm not saying like you're gonna correct your chronic illness by eating well, but it might help. Yeah, I have a couple myself, and I'll let you know in 6 months after meal prepping.
No, anything like that takes a good 2 years at least.
Okay.
You gotta. That's another thing is our time, our perception of time. Who was it that said? I feel like Vishen Lakhiani is the one that told me, but I'm not sure if it was his quote or not. But anyway, it says we vastly underestimate how much we can do in a year, in 5 years, but we vastly overestimate how much we can do in a year. So do with that what you will. Our time perception and how long things take is often very off. If you spend 30 years with a crap diet, you're not going to fix that in 6 months.
That makes sense. There's no overnight fix for anything,
No.
but it can definitely help. And
I also don't believe in dieting. That's a temporary injunction into your life when you're going to be eating for the rest of your life, right? That's what? Hopefully 60 plus more years.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I say diet not meaning, what is the word?
Crash.
Less. What is the word for less?
Starve yourself. Don't do that.
Don't do that. I say diet as just what you're consuming.
Right. I mean, like an elephant has a diet.
Yeah.
And a dog has a diet. Cats have a diet. We have a diet. And it's different for every person. But we're not talking about food in this episode. We're talking about seasonal depression.
Okay.
It does all interlock. But we will do food-specific podcast episodes.
Okay, I agree. Well, going back to the lack of sunlight, it disrupts your circadian rhythm, which is why you are depressed or more sad. Our natural body clock is responsible for many functions, including digestion and appetite, sleep quality and duration, and your general mood. So if you are not taking in the vitamin D from the sun or your light therapy lamp, you are more naturally depressed and sad.
Tracks.
Yeah, it definitely does. And although it's most common during the winter, you can also experience seasonal depression during the summer. Some people just don't like it when it's hot outside.
I mean, yeah.
That's northern temperature, northern hemisphere, southern. Well, I'm just take that out.
I'm gonna leave it in.
Okay.
So that people can see that we are regular people doing our best.
Northern hemisphere, summer.
It's warm here.
It's more common in women than in men. If you were born a woman,
what is
seasonal depression?
Okay.
Seasonal affective disorder. In fact, it's estimated that 60 to 90%, which is that's a pretty big variation there, of people suffering from it are
60
female.
to 90%.
Yeah, that's pretty big. That makes women 8 times more likely to deal with this issue. It's believed to be more common in people who live farther north or south from the equator.
Because sun.
Yep. A much rarer form of seasonal depression is called summer depression, which we just talked about. The shift in mood is marked by symptoms such as a sleep problem, lack of appetite, weight loss, and agitation. It's hot outside. Your body doesn't know what the hell's going on.
I thrive in heat.
I don't thrive in any temperature variation. I need 75 all year round.
That's LA weather. You're gonna have to do that.
I'm gonna have to move to California. It's a plan. My children's father doesn't want to go with me, so I'm not gonna move my kids all the way out there. That would be, I don't think I could do that. This right here says the winter blues, in quotation, is believed to affect 15% of the population, which I disagree. I think that's closer to the 80% that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, for sure. But let me talk for a second about those statistics and how we are not pulling these percentages out of our ass. We are looking them up at accredited sources, and all of the accredited sources, you can find a accredited source where they have done research on things that support whatever it is you want it to support.
Yes.
Okay. That's why it's really important to have an open mind and take everything with a grain of salt. Okay. If it applies to you, then it applies to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it feels right, then go with it. If it doesn't, everything's relative. And even scientific discoveries that we feel are fact are being disproven all the time by new discoveries. We could go on about this forever.
Yeah, complete tangent, but we were taught in school that the blood in your veins is blue until it's oxygenated, and then it turns red when it hits the air. That's not true. It's always red. It's an optical illusion that your veins are blue. Yes. See, they they did us wrong in the 90s, guys.
They did us wrong in the 90s. They did us wrong throughout history, and we're doing our best with the trauma that has incurred on our society and culture and communities and families and people in general.
Seasonal affective disorder seems to run in families. Savannah and I were just talking about this off mic. Um, I've dealt with seasonal depression my whole life, and anxiety. My parents, they had no idea, or they said they had no idea what was going on with me. This was this newfangled thing that I was experiencing.
Anxiety that never existed.
No, they did the right thing. They took me to the doctor. But this was after 2 months of not eating and not talking to anybody. But they said that they've never experienced it. But now that I'm an adult and I see them, they are very anxious, very depressed people. They just didn't have an outlet, didn't get to talk to anybody, didn't know.
And that's where it is with most things. Our parents didn't have access to the knowledge that we have. They if they wanted to know something, all we have to do is Google it. They had to go to the library and sift through books upon books upon books to try and find the answer.
And can you imagine having to go to the doctor? Like, I think something's wrong with me, but I don't know. That would be awful.
Yeah.
And children can suffer from seasonal depression, but typically it doesn't begin until after 20, which...
that feels like an opinion.
Yeah, definitely. How many children are you interviewing?
Yeah. How many children understand what depression or anxiety is?
Children always think they're happy. They don't know that they're not.
And they don't differentiate between anxiety and fear.
That's true.
Or depression and sadness. I didn't get my way, so I'm depressed now.
Yeah.
It's not.
My son's stomach hurts all the time. I'm sure it's anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem like an anxious person, but I don't know what's going on in that brain.
I mean, I have whole ass panic attacks where I feel like I might die within the next few minutes, but unless I tell you, I look pretty even keel.
I always say, if I die in the next few minutes, this is what's wrong with me. I'm already self-diagnosed, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's just anxiety. But I'm gonna tell you out loud just in case. So you're ready to call 911.
So how about some things that help anxiety and seasonal besides light? Because we did cover the light and the vitamin D and the eating well. I notice that I do a lot better if I hang out with people. It doesn't matter, because I'll tell myself all day long I don't want to hang out with people, and I'm an introvert, and it's but I always feel better after I do.
I'm the same way. I love canceled plans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Love canceled plans. And I think that I'm fine being at home by myself. But as soon as I get around people, I open up. I become almost a new version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm quiet and I am somber.
At home by yourself?
Yes.
Okay, I was just gonna say.
No, I'm the opposite.
You are very the opposite.
I need to be around people almost constantly to feel any resemblance of my normal.
But do definitely protect your energy. There are some people who are definitely going to make that worse for you. The depression and anxiety thing. Know who those people are and adjust accordingly.
Yes.
If you've ran out of people, then start finding strangers on the internet. And I say strangers, and what I mean by strangers is, people that, those people that you went to school with and you know who they are, but you've never actually talked to them. Those people.
Yeah, those people.
See if you can strike up a conversation. People bond over food, okay? So how me and April have managed this and making friends is by we plan to cook. So, and it helps when you have kids too. So it's like, hey, you figure out whose house you're going to go to or whatever, and then you figure out what you're going to make, and then y'all just decide that you're going to show up at this time with these ingredients, bring your kids, let the kids run around. The kids are a great icebreaker. And then, but if you don't have kids, then hey, do you want to food prep with me? I was wanting to make a chicken stew, and I could use some help. Would you be interested? And then you take half the chicken stew home. Yeah, I mean, you can get creative. Y'all do whatever you want. You don't have to cook. That's just what we do.
We make mood boards sometimes.
Yeah, we do vision boards. We've done that before, and we've done little projects. I know you have. I know you have a project sitting in the corner somewhere that you haven't touched.
Yes.
I know you do. You got all the stuff already. You know what you need? You don't need time to do it. You need a friend to do it with.
Oh, okay, motivation. I want to talk about motivation. Motivation does not have to predate you actually doing something. You actually doing it can create the motivation.
Yes, very important. Okay, very important. If you don't feel motivated to do something, find the willpower to do it. Make your, and you can break it down as much as you want. Okay, start with standing. Okay, I'm gonna stand.
Oh, I like that. I talk about how I don't want to do anything sometimes. Sometimes making a pot of coffee is too much for me.
Because it's too many steps.
It's too many steps. And it just sounds like making coffee to most people. To me,
it's not. You gotta clean the coffee maker out first usually. And you gotta go get some water and hope that the water tower has water in it, or else then you gotta fill it up first.
It's a whole thing. When I can just crack open it and there's a drink, it's a lot easier. I struggle with motivation. It's not that important. You don't even need it. Just get up and do it. Motivation will come.
Don't think about it so much. That's usually the problem. Like I said, break it down so small. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna stand up. A lot of times, what I do is I'm saying, but after I untangle all of my words and find a sentence, I'll stand up and I'll go look at the project. And either I start poking at it and messing it with it, or I just go and walk away. And then I'll walk to it tomorrow, and we'll see if I want to poke it that day. Excuse me.
We need to figure out why people say that.
Bless you. Mm-hmm. It's to
keep the demons out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep your soul safe. Because when you.
But why?
They're afraid your soul's gonna escape through your mouth.
Oh, okay. Keep that in there. Keep that soul in there.
Yeah, old wives' tales and superstitions. It's great when you start dissecting all of this stuff. But yeah, don't think of it as a whole project. Think of it as walking over to the project and looking at it. And if things start to happen from there, then great. If they don't stress over it. Try again tomorrow. Eventually, you're going to be like, you know what? I think I want to start looking at it.
Yeah, and expectations. I live with my children's father. We are together. His expectations of the way things need to go are not mine. He believes that you get up early in the morning and you get moving. I'm not a morning person. I need hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, everybody's built differently.
So don't take other people's expectations and make them your own. You don't have to do that. That's just added stress. That adds to everything. Lower your expectations.
Everything always comes back to knowing who you are and what routines and mechanisms work best for you.
I am my best person between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Meanwhile, I'm up at 4:30, hit the ground running a.m., and then I might take a nap around.
I may wake up, drink some coffee, take a nap person. We were talking about children earlier. I need to decompress way more than seems like most people do.
I need to a lot.
I need to stare off into space and not talk to anybody or have anybody touch me for a pretty good amount of time.
10 days. 10 days is how much I need to decompress from certain things.
I love my children, but woo! Stop touching me. I just thought about this. We have discussed, I feel like in a previous episode, that the color green creates happy, feel-good chemicals in your body.
It's the color of life.
Yeah, and typically in the winter, it is less green.
Color therapy is a thing.
Yeah, just looking at green can make you feel better, can make you more motivated, can give you serotonin and
because we want
dopamine, adrenaline. Yeah. So that's another cause of depression in the winter. You are less
green things.
Everything is sticky and brown. Mm-hmm. It's pretty sad.
So I have a lot of content on anxiety specifically that you can find on the blog. and we will do more podcast episodes. But we just wanted to touch on seasonal anxiety and depression real quick and like on the fly, because it's important to right now, so we wanted to get it out. But just know that if you're having a hard time right now, A, it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you, and B, it doesn't mean that you're not alone. Okay, 80% of us is what we decided on was the accurate statement or accurate percentage that we're going to believe in. Most of us are struggling right now. It's fine. I've decided personally that if it's cold outside, I'm napping. So I'm napping 2 or 3 times a day, and it's fine. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, sometimes I agree. You are not alone. You are not broken. This is common, and we're here for you.
Yeah, most of all the things that we quote unquote think is wrong with us is just society and culture expectations to how we should be. It's them wanting to box us, but when you stop trying to box yourself and you just let yourself exist and be what you are, who you are, as long as it's not harmful and it's in a positive direction, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I agree. We are breaking the stigma.
That's it. But yeah, join us in the Facebook group. The link is around here somewhere. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll send it over to you. But you can talk to we all got it. We all have anxiety and depression over there, so we can all support each other and talk about it and stuff.
And you don't even have to talk. Just read some posts. You might vibe with what you're saying and get the help you need just from reading.
Yeah, no obligations. Whatever you want to do with it.
Well, this has been fun talking about depression. Actually, it has. I'm pretty good right now. All right. Well, y'all have a good day.
Yep. Namaste.
Bye, guys.